Welcome to Withdraw Consent. My name is Victor. He's Jack. So, Jack, I feel like Americans aren't as strong as they portray themselves to be. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, I'm totally on board with that.
Okay.
Now I'm going to tell you a story that inspired this video.
Okay.
Okay. I'm at the gas station and I'm in my pickup truck and I get out. I mess with the fuel, so I'm like out of sight. And I go to walk around the front of the vehicle, and there's this man there walking his dog towards the store, and he looks at me, and you could just see the look of fear, like, oh no, I'm screwed, because apparently I've got a intimidating misdemeanor or whatever,
Okay.
And his whole body stiffens, and he just walks straight forward, just like, I'm not going to show him I'm afraid, looking back, right?
Okay.
And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what do you think about that?
Well, my first reaction was it a racial thing? Was it a
White guy?
Oh, it was a white guy.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be my first thing.
But he just got an intuition. He looked at me, and then he just looked away,
just
and it's like,
fear.
yeah, and his body stiffened, and he just started walking. You know what I mean? And he's like, I'm not looking back.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of was just sensing alpha or a lion, and he's a sheep. That type of thing, and you get
Okay, but if you were a strong American and you were that guy, what action could you take?
If you are a strong American,
If that dude was a strong dude,
hey man, what's up? Or
yeah,
whatever. You
don't turn your back to the threat.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Because if you look back and be like, oh, this is going to make me look even weaker, right? And you look back and there's a fist flying at you, you better be looking back so you can duck, so you can do something, so you can scream for help and cry like a little girl if that's your strategy.
Yeah.
Whatever. Sick 'em, boy, to the chihuahua you're walking, whatever,
Right.
But not looking back is the wrong answer, And then, yeah, if you look back and then you assess again and you say, because if you look back, what's going to happen? I'm going to be like, it's cool, bro. You know what I mean? And you're going to be like, oh, this dude's pretty chill, But if you look back and you assess a threat, then what do? You square up. You square up or you bolt. Do you know what I'm saying? But you need that time to take action, And I see this in people. I see this type of behavior,
Okay.
And I'm like, just Americans are so pathetically weak, I want them to be strong,
Totally.
But it's like, I don't know. It depends what circle you're in, but how many people do you know who've been in a fight within the last 20 years, we'll say?
No, see, I was thinking the same thing. Like, let's say 50s or 60s, kids got in fist fights. I've never thrown a punch in my entire life, and I grew up in the 80s, which seems like forever ago.
Yeah.
But even I'm not going to be that guy who's going to, cower down and walk away. But yet, I don't know what it is to throw a punch or take a punch, that type of thing.
But you're going to give it a go.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I just feel like what we need from people is to start. Let me tell you a couple stories about brave people.
Okay.
Okay. I was an Uber driver for a while, years ago. And I stopped because I'm going to get some Panda Express. I get out of my vehicle and I'm walking down a line of cars. And a woman, attractive 20s, walks out. Starts walking, and she looks back at me, and she gives that same look, fear. So I immediately walk across the way, and start walking. Now I'm walking over here, so I'm almost in your periphery, and I'm not walking directly behind you out of sight. She looks back again, she just look of fear in her eye, and she runs. She runs to the Panda Express.
Yes.
That's bravery. Because when in doubt, she's not going to fight. She's not the person who's going to turn around and be like, I'm a black belt, or I've got a gun, So she's not prepared in any of those ways. What do? You run. So what do? I'm walking towards Panda Express. I'm like, I can't go to Panda Express and get in line behind her. I had to get back to my car and get back to work. But that's the kind of bravery that I want to see.
Okay.
You make a threat assessment. You take a decisive action. Even if that decisive action is running, because depending on your stature, your age, you might be 80, be like, man, I was in 3 wars, but I'm not going to fight you now unless I have to. I'm going to try to get to safety, Or like this woman, she knows she would be outmatched in a physical. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I got another story like that. Basically, I was in this casino in Nevada and off the way in an Indian place. And I was walking behind these 2 young ladies. We were both going the same direction. And then one of them looks back and then she has a little fear thing and she looks for it. But then the other one immediately looks back like, I know there's something back there, And then the one just grabs the other one and pulls her off to the side by some postcards because there's armed security at this place because it's a casino, And then they both look at me like, uh-oh, you know what I mean? And I say, ladies, I'm not going to hurt you at all. And they're like, no, you were just walking faster than us. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. But it was the appropriate action.
Okay.
Instead of continuing back here where there's some aisles, there's an armed guy right there, between the restaurant and the casino. Great action, you know?
Right.
But I love to see women take correct action. That's great to protect themselves.
Well, I think we're kind of going off the path here, but there's also a correct way to interact with women as a strange dude. Like I came out of a parking lot of a fast food place 10, 15 years ago, and there was a woman who you could tell like her car wasn't starting.
Yeah.
And from like 25 feet away, I said, I didn't get close to her. I just said, "What's going on with your car? Do you need help?" And, just tried to establish, rapport from far away.
Okay.
And then, she got comfortable with it. And, so I brought my car around and gave her a jump start and told her you need to drive it a little bit. And it went fine, but you don't just come up on them, "Hey, what's up?"
Right.
Like that type of thing. I think it's almost an apples to oranges thing, comparing a female reaction to a male. Because like I picture that dude that just, put his head down and was cowering in your presence as a dude that's going to throw his wife in front of him as a meat shield so he can get away. Like, he's that guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, throw the kids, quick.
Yeah, he's not the one that's sleeping closest to the door to protect from the danger.
Right. And so, yeah, like I want to see the women protect themselves, but I want to see the men protect everybody.
100%, yes.
And so basically, I'm encouraging you, if you're listening to this, to be that brave person. To be the guy, you take an aisle seat in the plane. It's not as great. You can't look out the window, but you're also not trapped in by a bunch of people. But just in case.
Right.
My father is way senior citizen, and after 9/11, he takes the aisle seat every time, just in case he has to die on that plane, right? And he's not going to be able to do much because the older you get, it gets harder and harder for,
Right.
to fight some youngsters, we'll say, but he's going to give it a go.
Right.
But I want everybody to have that mentality. And if you have children, train your children this way.
Right.
I was doing this drill with one of my kids when he was like 4, and we'll go into a restaurant we've been in before. I say, close your eyes, put your hands over your eyes, how many entrances, how many exits, it'll be like 3. Okay, point to them, with your eyes closed, just to give them an idea,
Yeah.
And I explained to him things about why I always take the seat watching the entrances,
Right.
because this is my job,
Totally.
The wife grabs the baby, she's not going to be battling away. She's going to be trying to get the baby and the kids to cover.
And this isn't that we're expecting fights or get into fights.
Right.
This is just on the odd chance that something goes down. You need to be the guy for your family.
Right. And you could even expand this conversation. And we've had this conversation before, but it's like, why don't more people concealed carry? A lot of people watching, you live in a constitutional carry state. How often do you concealed carry? You say you go your whole life and you never need to conceal carry, right? But you are that brave person with the tool to fix the situation if things go terribly wrong.
Right.
Reminds me of that story, I think it was Indiana in the shopping mall. Do you remember that guy?
Oh, yeah, that just took care of business.
Yeah. Mass shooter, AR-15, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was like 100 yards away. He was at phenomenal distance with a pistol.
For a pistol.
And he hit the dude like 7 or 8 out of 10 shots.
Yeah.
And he was there with his girlfriend. The mall has specific rules. You can't bring your firearms into that mall, even if you're legally concealed carry and stuff. Didn't care. He went in concealed carry,
Mm-hmm.
And he just, what I'm saying?
Save people's lives.
Yeah. They should build a statue of him in that mall. In that mall, in that town, maybe, in the town square. Like, could you be more like Bob over here? I forget his name. I should know his name just out of respect, honestly.
And they should encourage people to carry.
They should encourage
that's what
people.
Happens. Yeah.
Right. And this is why I'm encouraging you. Like, imagine you think, well, I don't really need to carry. I'm just going to my kid's Little League game. Carry.
You don't know.
It's a soft target. There's children. There's other people's children. How many other men there are going to stand in the gap when you didn't bring your firearm?
Right.
So anyways, this is basically what I got on this topic. But I just want to encourage people, like, especially if you have kids, train them the right way. Train them not to be, your boys, train them not to be little girls. Your little girls, train them to be aware of what's going on and always seek their own protection.
Right. And you can, like, in the moment, you can choose to, even if you don't feel like you're the guy, you can, it's a choice at that moment of, I am going to be that guy right now.
Right.
And you can almost kind of change how your life goes just by making that. Because ultimately, I've watched videos on concealed carry and that type of thing. And they always say that you don't know if you're going to be able to pull your gun when something goes down until you're in that moment. You can have all the training, all the experience, and be a great shot, but yeah.
And another thing along those lines is, I mean, this is such an important thing because from my experience, no matter how many times you're put in the situation, every single time you have to prove your courage and your honor. Okay. Because I was in a situation and I had to be a hero and I was the hero that time, you know? And then I was put in another situation and I was the hero that time too. But I seen somebody else who was also a hero before, and then he just became a small girl weeping and getting destroyed physically, you know? And it's like, what happened to that man, you know?
Right.
Well, he caved in that one instance.
He didn't choose.
He didn't choose or whatever he had going on, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you're only going to get a couple chances, if that much, in your entire life to save a baby, to pull over for a burning car. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're only going to get a few chances.
Yep.
But you've got to be prepared when you get there to be that person by having the right mindset, you know?
Right.
It's like you were saying, like, say you've never thrown a punch in your life, you know? But if that time comes, you're ready to throw down.
Right.
Which is the mindset you got to have, and then we'll see if you have the courage and honor to do it at the time. But it's like we're trying to build a movement here, right? And the movement is to, in the end, overthrow the system and put in place something far better that's completely dedicated and focused to the best interest of its people, of our people. But to do that, we need strong people.
Right.
We need a lot of strong people. And the strong people are going to have to take up the slack for the weak people who are also doing it for.
What do you mean they're also doing it for?
We're also doing this mission to overthrow the system. Yeah. So us strong people, we have to make up for that guy by my truck.
Right.
Who's not going to do anything.
Right. You're not counting on him.
Yeah, you can't count on him. Right. But you got to pick up the slack now because now we got less, you know. So basically, be strong, be courageous.
Yeah, it's a very small percentage of people that will ever do the things.
And we need that to be more.
Right.
And we need those people to do the things. But I'm not saying let's meet. I seen a funny gab, and somebody had said, yeah, we got to stand up and overthrow the system. And the guy said, cool, let's meet at your place Tuesday at 10 p.m. You know, like Fed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the guy's point was relevant, you know.
Right.
If you're speaking in abstracts, he's 100% correct.
Right.
You know. Anyways, that's what I got. What do you think?
No, I'm completely on board with everything you said. And yeah, everyone can strive to be better, more manly, you know, if you're a dude, and protect yourself if you're a woman. Just all those things. I think it applies to a huge amount of people. Yeah.
And if you've never thought about concealed carry or something, you could take classes.
Yeah.
You can go take a class and not even say you're ever going to buy a gun or whatever, or not even say you're going to concealed carry it. Just take a class and see.
Yeah, there's great safety classes and stuff for people who have never gone down that road, and like rent a firearm and do the whole thing, and you can go through it and figure out, is this something I want to go down the road? I mean, I went to a safety class where the first time they had a gun in our hands, you know, we're shooting at the targets, and then he made every person, the target started at 21 feet out, which was the closest in that state that you were allowed to shoot someone, and you just have to start yelling at the target.
Oh, interesting.
And then at some point he hits the button and the target starts coming, and you gotta.
Oh, wow.
So he's trying to put you in that situation.
Interesting.
And, you know, just experience it and see if maybe I could do this, and maybe I could, you know, step up and for my community or whatever. And it's not a bad experience.
I love it. Yeah. We need more experiences like that, honestly. Just because we're not exposed to anything.
Right.
Well, in most people's lives, you're not exposed to a lot of violence.
We're very well sheltered from real world type stuff like that.
And then I've been in situations that were so violent, and in your mind's trying to work it out. Like, why is this happening?
Right.
Why are these people attacking us? Do you know what I'm saying? And your mind actually wants to ask. I said ask. Oh my goodness. Okay, your mind actually wants to ask them the question in the middle of this fight because your mind's so confused. There's no provocation for this behavior. You know, is this just a race riot? Like, what's happening? You know, and you're battling, and it's like you just got to overcome that. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing you could do but fight, save people, pull into safety. You know, do different stuff. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I got.
So, what do you guys think of this? You see this in your own lives? Maybe you feel like, hey, man, I want to step up some more. We'd love to hear your comments or anything that you've witnessed in life that pertain to this. We release new videos Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern. Check out our new content or even our backlog. We've got lots of different, huge variety of content we post. And hopefully we'll catch you next time.